What's up, guys? Your boy Spenny here, and today I would like to welcome you to the very first episode of Hardcore Hell, a series where my team and I are going to bring you off-meta builds that are capable of crushing through hardcore content at almost any difficulty and any player count. And today we would like to debut and showcase the Prayer Bear. So, what is the Prayer Bear exactly? Well, it's a Paladin build that focuses on the extremely potent Prayer Aura synergies and brings an immense amount of utility to group play. He allows his team the opportunity to expand their arsenals in more unique ways and focus on bringing more damage to the table. Yes, while this is a utility build, don't be fooled. The Prayer Bear can easily solo all content in Hell difficulty up to players 5 with absolute ease. And for players 6+, it's still soloable. It just takes a little bit more finesse and a little bit more work and maybe a full rejuve here and there to get the job done. Alright, let's take a look at the gear setup that makes this whole build possible. And as a quick caveat, this is an endgame build and maybe even considered an extremely endgame build because there are 4 specific items that you absolutely have to have in order to make the build work. I have tested it out at varying different gear levels, but without the 4 specifics, there's not really any build to be had. But let's go check it out. So the first item that you're going to need for the core 4 is a Plague Phase Blade. The Plague Phase Blade puts the prayer in Prayer Bear. It provides you with a level 14 cleansing aura when equipped, which synergizes with your prayer buffs and provides massive AoE healing for your entire group. Not to mention, it also has a 20% chance to cast a level 12 lower resist when you're struck, adding even more utility to your group and lowering the resist of all the mobs that are around you. The second item that you need for the core 4 is a Beast Berserker Axe. This literally puts the bear in Werebear. While in reality you should probably have your beast weapon in a scepter that gives plus to skills, I put it in a Berserker Axe just for ease of use and to normalize the build a little bit and see how it would perform without absolutely perfect gear. The Beast Axe provides you with +3 to Lycanthropy and +3 to Werebear, which allows you to transform into a Werebear so when you're standing and tanking damage on the front lines, you're not dying as quickly because of the added health pool. It also adds a level 9 Fanaticism Aura when equipped, so if you're running with a melee heavy group or you're trying to down the Ubers, you have access to a Fanaticism Aura without having to allocate the points in your own skill tree. The third item that you're going to need for the core 4 is a Dragon Archon Plate. The one thing that this build really lacks is any kind of damage. When you transform into Werebear form, it prevents you from using any of your Paladin melee skills, so you're left with just single attacking. So the best way we found to add some much needed damage to this build was to utilize the level 14 Holy Fire Aura when equipped that the Dragon Archon Plate provides. Not only does it provide you with a good amount of AoE damage, softening all the targets around for the rest of your team, but it also buffs your melee attack damage with a bunch of fire that allows you to be effective on the front lines with damage as well. The fourth and final item that you're going to need for the core 4 is a Dragon Zakarum Shield. This Dragon Shield serves the same purpose as the Dragon Archon Plate. It adds an additional level 14 Holy Fire Aura when equipped and adds even more damage to your melee attacks, allowing you the opportunity to be able to solo things when you're not with your group, but also providing extra damage to soften targets up all around you when you're grouped up with your team. As for the rest of the gear, we're currently using a Metamorphosis helmet. Now we know this is a very expensive helmet and difficult to come by. However, we did workshop several others such as Shaco and Flickering Flame, and they worked out just fine. We did decide to go with Metamorphosis so that we could gain access to Mark of the Bear. Mark of the Bear provides you with 25% increased attack speed and reduces physical damage you receive by 20%. It also gives you a little extra crushing blow, some strength and vitality, a little bit of all res, and a source of cannot be frozen. For our amulet, we went with Mara's Kaleidoscope. We workshopped several other amulets, and we found that none of the other amulets really benefited the build quite as powerfully as Mara's Kaleidoscope did. With the plus 30 to all resistances and the plus 2 to all skills, it gave the build some much needed extra resistance, and the plus 2 to all skills synergized very well with the lycanthropy and the werebear skills that you gain from Beast. For our gloves, we went with the time-tested Laying of Hands, an amazing set of gloves for any melee build. It provides us with 50 additional fire resistance, 20% increased attack speed, and plus 350% damage to demons, which came in handy when pushing our bosses. For our boots, we went with Gore Rider War Boots. The Gore Rider War Boots provided us with the 30% faster run walk, 10% open wounds, 15% crushing blow, and 15% deadly strike. These additional stats meshed very well with the build. However, we did workshop several other pairs of boots, such as War Travs and Sandstorm Treks, and they all worked out just fine. If you're looking for a little extra magic find, War Travs might be for you. If you need some additional poison resistance, it might be the Sandstorm Treks. But feel free to switch your boots in and out, but we found Gore Riders worked really well. For our belt, we went with the good old String of Ears. It provides physical damage reduced by 15%, magic damage reduced by 15%, and 8% life stolen per hit. This belt just happened to mesh very well with our melee heavy build. For our first ring, we went with Bulkatho's Wedding Band. The plus 1 to all skills synergized very well with the Werebear and Lycanthropy from Beast. The extra life, based on your character level, in our case 49, worked out really well, and the 5% life stolen per hit considering our incredibly fast attack rate. And for our second ring, we went with the Wisp Projector. It gives 20% additional lightning absorb, which is always great when you're trying to traverse the world, such as Bale's Walk, and there's souls everywhere. The 20% lightning absorb proved endlessly useful. However, there are several other options that you can choose should you not feel that you need the extra lightning absorb. And finally, for the shield that we used on our weapon swap with Beast, it is also a Dragon Zakharum shield. However, this is absolutely not necessary. We just put it there for testing purposes, and it was what was in the footage that you see in the video. However, we also workshopped a Spirit Shield there, and we also workshopped Storm Shield there, and we also tried out the Herald of Zakharum. All three of those shields worked just fine. The second Dragon Zakharum shield is absolutely not necessary. So there you have it. That's the gear breakdown that we found worked best with the build and meshed well when it came to all of our skills and stats. Speaking of, let's go take a look at our stat points so you can understand why we allocated the stat points where we did. For our strength, we put just enough points in to wield our gear. In this case, it was 65. For our vitality, we put 170 base points of vitality in. This gave us just under 3,000 hit points when we were in bear form. All of the rest of our stat points got allocated to dexterity. This gave us our maximum shield block and a little extra evasion and defense for when we're fighting bosses and fighting ogres. As for our skills, in our defensive auras tree, we put 20 points in prayer, because after all, we are a prayer bear. We put 20 points in resist fire. This helps to increase the damage from our dragon. We put 15 points in defiance to further increase our defense. We put 1 point in cleansing, 1 point in meditation for the synergies with prayer, and then we put 20 points in salvation for, again, more synergy with our dragon's damage. In our offensive auras tree, it's relatively simple. We just put 1 point in all the skills required to get down to conviction, in which we put 3 points in. And last but not least, for our combat skills tree, we simply put 1 point in all the required skills to get down to Holy Shield, at which point we put 20 points into Holy Shield, maxing it out. So there you have it, the ultimate Prayer Bear build, including your gear sets, your stat point allocations, and your skill trees. Now all you have to do is make the magic work. The Prayer Bear rocks a relatively simple gameplay style. All you have to do is keep your plague weapon out and meditation aura active as often as humanly possible. This will give you massive amounts of AoE healing for your entire group, as well as a level 17 meditation aura, which is the same as a max level insight. Also, if your group doesn't include mana users and you're a melee heavy group with lots of barbarians and zealotins, that's perfectly fine too. You can always switch to your beast weapon and rock a level 9 fanaticism aura and pop on the conviction aura, which with all of your gear ups, it will be a level 12, which is the same as a mercenary carrying an infinity weapon. On top of all the utility of a max level Insight Mercenary, a max level Conviction Infinity Mercenary, a level 14 Cleansing Aura, massive AoE heals from your prayer, you also have a level 20 Salvation Aura to fall back on, should your team feel that they need the extra all resistance. The Prayer Bear build is just nothing if not a utility master, providing your team with everything they could ever want from their mercenaries, weapons, their own gear, and even their own weapon swaps. You just bring everything to the table while they run through everything and massacre all of Diablo's minions. And as if this build wasn't beautiful enough, with all the utility it brings, from its Conviction Aura, to its Salvation Aura, to its Insight Auras with Meditation, to the massive outputs of healing from prayer, and everything that it provides for your team, the lower resist from the Plague Weapon, the cleanse from the Plague Weapon, all of that utility. As if that wasn't great enough, there's one more thing I want to mention. I'm sure you've heard me bring it up a couple of times in the video already, and that's the Ubers. This build is actually capable of taking down the Ubers, because at the end of the day, it's still a Paladin build with 1 point in Smite, and that's all you need. All you have to do is swap out your weapon swap shield with a Herald of Zakarum paired with Beast Weapon, and then you trade out your gloves, your Laying of Hands gloves for Drax gloves, throw on your Salvation Aura, don't activate Werebear, go on into the Ubers and smite them down. Just like a Smited in, it's amazing. You'll see it in this video right up here behind me, so check it out. And last but not least, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking it out, checking out the new build, the ultimate Prayer Bear build that me and my homies have worked so hard to workshop and bring to you guys. Don't forget to mash that like and subscribe button if you thought the build was cool. Even if you didn't think it was cool, let me know in the comments if there's any changes you think I could make. Let me know. I'm all ears. Again, thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of these Ubers. Peace out.